Hello, it's Valerie Lee here, affectionately known as Dr. Burnout. I've tried to choose a quiet spot where I am, but it's really hard to find. Alright, I'm coming live to you every day for the next 9 days because I would really love to get your attention about a program that I'm running for 90 days, or 12 weeks, called Resource Me 2020, or Resource Me Live is the actual name. It's a really popular program. I run it. I'm in the group with you. We break down the steps to actually having a really fantastic 2020, resourced, energized, and really expanded in how you feel, so that you know that you've made a difference and it has lasting impact, because you do it once, 12 months, you feel what it's like, and away you go. I want to tell you a story though about today, something to do with raw chicken, okay? So in my house, we are trying a new way of doing things. We haven't fully done it in totality, but my kids are teenagers and I'm moving into wanting to pass it forward, pay it forward, and give them an understanding of what it is actually to be diligent, to know what brokenness in the world is, to give, but also not to lose themselves in it and be part of a frenetic world. And so we're trying something to actually really tap into the children's ability to express what their internal drivers are, what their strengths are, and to serve out of that. Right? So every conversation we have, it's really tapping into that while holding them accountable to not being selfish and self-centered, and to contributing. So I was on my way home from work and thought to myself that there's an opportunity for one of my children to serve our family tonight, because I really needed to get to the gym. I haven't been able to get back to my routine for a while, for a week, because we're moving house and the gremlins are loose in our practice with technology and things like that. And I had committed for this week that these are going to be the times when I was actually going to get back to the gym. And as I was driving home, I thought to myself, how am I going to get dinner done? And I thought this is a perfect opportunity for one of my children to serve the family. And so here's what I was thinking. I thought, interesting, let's give them a call. So I gave them a call and I got a weary voice on the telephone. Hello? Oh, how are you? Oh, what's been I was on a trampoline for 2 hours. Oh, I'm exhausted. I'm tired. My legs, whatever. So they've been on one of those excursions. Side note, those cause me a lot of anxiety, those trampoline places. and they were tired, right? So now I'm thinking, I'm right about to ask them to serve the family by cooking dinner. And I was on the brink of actually saying, I probably should cut them some slack, let them. But I thought, no, life is never like that. Life is never so simple that someone takes something away from you because you've had a rough day. Life pretty much just keeps going, right? And this is an opportunity for them to actually serve the family and to figure out a way within themselves to do this in an expansive way rather than a restrictive way. And I said, it involves cutting raw chicken. And they were like, raw chicken. So here's the thing, right? I was about to change my mind and actually say, don't worry about it. I'll just come home and cook dinner, which for me is a script also of self-sacrifice and just pushing through, even though I knew I had very little margin to do this. And I thought about it, and this particular child has a very interesting interest it is in raw chicken. They have theories about raw chicken. They like the way it looks, the shine of raw chicken. They like the way that when they slice through raw chicken, there's a bit of tension in the way. The bottom line is this child loves raw chicken. And it obviously grosses all of us out because we're like, oh, come on, it's raw chicken. And of course, we make sure that they wash their hands and all of that. But they are always up for raw chicken, not eating it, but preparing it or poking it, or what does it look like when it's frozen? What does it look like when it's defrosted? Behind all of that, in this child is actually, they're also the child that loves watching those medical programs. And every time there's like an operation or a surgery scene or a vet scene or an accident scene, this child is fairly mesmerized, right? So we've got some theories and we've had conversations about this. What does this actually mean? What's the interest there? And this child basically has an interest in anatomy and the way that bodies work, and is interested and fascinated about how the body can heal and things like that. And so raw chicken kind of fits somewhere in there, or being maybe the closest thing that they can get to in terms of something that's dead. I don't know, but it fits somewhere in there. And I knew that that would be a chore or an activity that would tap right into that. And let me tell you, the minute I said raw chicken is involved, this child went, oh yes. Even though as I was leading up to the conversation, when it came up, I'd like you to cook dinner for the family, this child was then saying, what's for dinner? The minute I say you get to cut raw chicken, they were totally excited. Yes, they said, okay. Now here's the other thing. Then I thought, oh, let's up the energy here. Let's totally get this child to expand, because I may find out when I get home that they've gone the extra mile and cut the raw chicken, and because of this one more thing that I put in, I might find that they found the inspiration and the capacity to expand out of the exhaustion and actually cook the whole meal. And the other thing is raw onions. This child also loves cutting raw onions. Now, you might think we have a very strange family, but let me tell you what that is. It's classic, okay? This child loves drama. This child is actually a very shy child, very, very shy child. And for the longest time when they were in primary school, didn't have the confidence really to, talk in class and things like that until, I think it must have been about, maybe about year one, maybe, when a teacher introduced my child to drama, and lo and behold, we all discovered that this child really loves drama. They totally come out of their shell, and they're like a different person, and they're up for it. They're into the whole dramatic scene, and get them to come up with some weird concepts for costume and voicing. They're up for it. And so onions for this child, can you guess what the lure of onions is? Here's the thing. This child is fascinated by how people who act can just spontaneously cry. How do tears just come out of your eyes? Like, how do people do this? And the closest approximation of this that she can find in her world is chopping onions, right? And so when they are cutting onions, this child of mine just enters this dramatic zone. They're fully committed to onions. Like, the more onions they can chop, the better, right? And so chopping onions for this child induces tears and induces the feeling, and then outpours these soliloquies and these dramatic pieces of movements as they chop the onions, because now they've induced crying and they are able to move into the flow of the drama. And so I figured that the raw chicken was expanding energy. Now I'm going to say, hey, by the way, could you chop some raw onions for me as well? And it's like, sold, right? We're now in motivation mode. Done. Raw chicken, raw onions. What has this got to do with me wanting to encourage you to think about doing something similar for yourself? I wanted to just say that when you know what fires you up, what are the elements in your work that can bring back that spontaneity, that expansion of energy, and you head in that direction, it really doesn't take much to revive you. But when you are invested only in the things that are dragging you down and you feel trapped and you feel stuck and your eyes are on the ground and it's Groundhog Day, you feel like you're going to shrink, right? So why don't you join me for Resource Me Live? It starts February 20th, 2020. What a great date if you 2020. And come with me on a journey for 12 weeks to really discover some of the sparks in your life and in your world, how you can expand in the areas that you think are shrinking around you. I totally want to be able to do that with you.